I understand that Oshupeng Maseko is on the line with us. He's a political analyst. Thank you very much for joining us this morning on Afro Breakfast, sir.
Thanks a lot. Good morning to you and your viewers.
Well, let's start by talking about, the rights really of each side. I mean, we can talk about it from a legal perspective, but let's talk about it politically. This situation has reached really an unattainable point where, the mayor and the party that she belongs to simply don't get along. Politically, does this really make sense? I mean, the court can make their rulings, bring her back into the party and all of that. But I mean, politically, we can reach a point where the party itself might even sabotage her from doing the things that she's supposed to be doing as mayor in the DA, and I suppose clipping her wings, which in some cases I believe they've already started to do. So does this make political sense?
No, it does not make political sense, because remember, you are having two parties here, Patricia de Lille as an individual, and also the DA as a political party, which actually deployed her to be mayor of the city of Cape Town. Now, if you are having a situation where there's a conflictual relationship between the two, it's not going to be workable on the basis that indeed they might even try to sabotage a political office. Worst of all, it's possible that each and every action or activity that the leader will try to engage in government, they might try not to support it. So it doesn't make political sense, specifically for the Lille's own survival as a mayor of the city of Cape Town.
Now, the party has now said that it is considering, and it probably will push for to launch, of course, another motion of no confidence. What is the procedure there, and at what point can you stop with these motion of no confidence? Is it limitless?
Motions of no confidence are not limitless. They can be tabled at any given time. The only person who can actually determine when the motion cannot be tabled is the Speaker of the City of Cape Town. Now, you would understand that now the Speaker is a member of the Democratic Alliance who actually would be dictated to politically by the Democratic Alliance of its intentions against the lead. So the motions of no confidence, we cannot expect them to stop at any given time until such time the DA has successfully removed the lead from office.
All right, let's bring in then Walid Brown. He's an attorney at Worksmen's Attorneys, and I think we should perhaps discuss the legalities really of these issues. Walid, thank you very much for joining us then on the line, sir.
Morning.
As a start, legally, where is the Democratic Alliance now? They seem to be losing every court battle against Patricia de Lille. She seems to be on a winning streak. What are their legal options?
Well, the one difficulty that the Democratic Alliance has is that it has been fighting a lot of interlocutory battles with the mayor. There's another interlocutory battle coming up where she's requesting documentation arising out of the Steenhuisen report. And my view is that the Democratic Alliance should go back to the starting point, back to their own disciplinary procedures that are enshrined in their own constitution, and follow that. I cannot for the life of me fathom why they are hesitant to go back to their own internal disciplinary processes that they do have. They are allowing the mayor to continuously record victories in court on interlocutory issues that fail to deal with the substantive complaints that they protest to have against the mayor.
Now, the full bench of the High Court found that the determination that de Lille ceased to be party member after making statements on a radio station that she would resign after she cleared her name. Did the DA have a case really at that time? They say that this was in their rules and that you can't publicly say that you will resign from the organization or party that you're part of publicly on a radio station. Did the DA at that point legally have legal standing to say that, well, she said this on a radio station, so therefore she's breached our rules, she's breached the rules that she herself was meant to be a part of in the DA. Did the DA in essence have a case at that time, or there was no case, but she said what she was saying on radio, and actually she hasn't technically cleared her name yet, has she?
No, to be honest, I don't think the Democratic Alliance had a case. There are a number of issues that arise. The first one is whether the particular clause in the Democratic Alliance's constitution, whether that clause dealing with the cessation of a member's membership, whether that is constitutional. And the second issue is whether they follow due process within their own constitution, the rules outlined therein. And the court didn't even get to the second issue, the issue as to whether or not the particular clause complained of gives them the right to terminate her membership.
Yeah.
The Democratic Alliance did not follow its own rules. The Federal Legal Council of the Democratic Alliance was not properly constituted, and that is the body that must first decide on a particular charge and make referrals to their federal executive. So it's not a case as if the moment the mayor makes the utterance in public that membership is automatically terminated, which is in fact what the Democratic Alliance argued in court. And the court rejected that. The court said no, once that utterance is made, they must form the Federal Legal Council, they must make a decision, and that decision must be referred to the executive. And the court found that they didn't follow that process. And the biggest problem there was that the Federal Legal Council was not properly constituted. And that for them creates further problems, because if the Federal Legal Council is not properly constituted in this instance, the question is, was it properly constituted in other instances where Democratic Alliance members were charged with their own internal processes? The problem is the Democratic Alliance is creating more problems for themselves with the strategy that they are following.
Yeah. Mr. Brown, I mean, in the ruling, Judge Andre de Lange cited various irregularities in de Lille's removal, which you're talking to as well there. The main thing was the setting up of the DA's Federal Legal Commission. Explain to us why this was seen as irregular. And I think on the back of that, does irregular also then mean illegal?
It doesn't mean illegal, but it means it's irregular in terms of their own internal party rules and processes. Now, I think what the court tried to do, the court tried to steer away from the constitutional issues. Now, the constitutional issues would have been whether a political party has the right to terminate the membership of its own members and what that process is. And the court steered away from that. The court focused on, even if that clause does exist, what are the internal party processes that must be followed? And the Democratic Alliance was found wanting. And in my view, this is a massive blow for the Democratic Alliance, because it has based its reputation in South Africa on arguing that the ruling party must follow rules, processes, constitutional grounds, always going to court to challenge whether particular rules have been followed. For them to have been found not to have understood, firstly, and secondly, implemented their own internal party rules is a scathing indictment of the process they followed.
All right, let me bring back Oshupeng Maseko. Mr. Maseko, I mean, Mr. Brown has said there that this is, legally embarrassing for the DA, but let's talk about it from a political perspective. How does this look really for the DA, and how damaging politically is it for the DA? I mean, are its members going to remain as members? Is this a huge deal to them? Talk to us about where the DA stands now politically during this whole back and forth with Patricia de Lille.
The fact that the DA failed to handle the matter properly and follow all the due process within the party internally actually says that, or suggests that the DA has shot itself in the foot. Because it would then appear to members of the public that the DA has intentions of getting rid of the Lille politically without any genuine consensus or any genuine reasons, because she still remains firmly that I'll go until such time I've proven myself innocent and not guilty. Now, the DA is actually, to a certain extent, pushing away support from towards elections, because remember we're towards elections now. So should it happen that de Lille is actually not found guilty in terms of all the allegations that the political party DA has actually labeled against her, it would then suggest that intentionally DA has actually acted in bad faith to actually get rid of de Lille, and that would push support away from the DA and possibly the support might move with the Lille, wherever the Lille's political home would be in future. Now, I think the D8 would be advisable for it to follow all the due processes that are internal in order to deal with the Lille saga. Otherwise, at the end of the day, the Lille would be eventually move out with the little bit of support that she has maintained within the party.
All right, I think let's wrap up the conversation. Just one last thing, bringing back Walid Brown, our attorney, talking to us today then about the case. I mean, Oshupeng says that the DA must then just follow its own due processes going forward, but legally going forward, Mr. Brown, I mean, what really are the chances of the DA? They've said that they're planning to appeal these findings legally. Where are they standing?
Yeah, I'm not sure their answer lies in an appeal. Of course, they've got the right to appeal.
Yeah.
I think the court at the hearing of the matter, the court indicated to them that this is not a legal issue; it's a political issue. Find a solution, and that's probably the best advice for the Democratic Alliance at this stage. Whatever process they follow, it is about the least reputational damage that they can suffer before an election next year. So my advice to them is to follow their own internal party rules, the constitution. Probably go forth with the internal disciplinary process and try to settle a lot of these side interlocutory skirmishes. Provide her with the documents that she has requested. Avoid going to court on this issue. And if the disciplinary process cannot lead to a conclusion that they're satisfied with, find a political solution to end this matter as quickly as possible. All
right, Mr. Brown, thank you so very much. And we thank both our guests this morning on this particular issue. Of course, the Cape Town Mayor, Patricia de Lille, her victory against the Democratic Alliance yesterday. And of course, she has said it herself that it's not the end, and she'll be back in court, incidentally, of course, today. So thank you very much to our guests for breaking it down for us legally and politically then this morning. Mr. Walid Brown, who's an attorney at Worksman's Attorneys, and Oshupeng Maseko, who's our political analyst, helping us out this morning. Thanks so much.